Stop scrolling. Do you see these tiny brown freckles on your gorgeous orchid flowers? Most growers think it's just water damage or an old bloom. They are wrong. This is Botrytis Petal Blight, caused by the aggressive fungus Botrytis cinerea. And here's the shocking truth. This fungus can wipe out an entire room of healthy plants in less than a week. It's airborne, it's aggressive, and the microscopic spores that cause this gray rot are already in your home right now, just waiting for the perfect conditions to launch an attack. I'm going to show you the 5 critical steps you must take immediately to make your blooms immune. If you have any orchids indoors, especially Phalaenopsis or Cattleya, you have to watch this now because the damage spreads faster than you can imagine. I'm the plant doctor, and for years I struggled with the devastating cycle of botrytis. I'd buy a perfect orchid, bring it home, and watch a flawless flower spike turn into a speckled, ugly mess within days. I know the frustration of losing a bloom you waited 6 months for. That feeling of spotting just one speck, and then that gray mold appear overnight, forcing you to cut off your beautiful flowers before their time. But I solved it. I spent years studying the fungal life cycle and boiled down the problem to 5 absolute environmental and care non-negotiables that you can control right now. Get these 5 things right, and you don't just treat the spots. You make your orchid blooms virtually immune to this aggressive airborne killer. We're not guessing anymore. We are attacking the fungus at its source. Stick with me, because the first step involves understanding the secret life cycle of this fungus, which is key to its complete eradication from your growing space. Secret 1. Destroying the fungal fortress, sclerosis and spores. To win the war against botrytis, you have to understand the enemy's survival strategy. Botrytis blight is caused by Botrytis cinerea, often known as gray mold or gray rot, a common name for a very nasty pathogen. And here is why it's so persistent. It doesn't just die when the conditions are bad. The fungus has 2 main forms of survival. First, it produces millions of tiny pale gray conidia. These are the airborne spores that give it the name gray mold. If you disturb an infected flower, you often see a cloud of these spores release into the air. This is how the disease spreads rapidly from one plant to the next. Second, and more concerning, are sclerosis. These are hard, black, microscopic survival structures, a bit like fungal batteries, that the fungus forms on dead plant material. The sclerosis allow the fungus to overwinter or survive dry periods on old leaves, spent flowers, or debris in your potting mix or under your benches for years. As soon as the environment becomes cool and damp again, these sclerosis germinate, producing new spores to start the cycle all over again. Think about that spent leaf or old flower spike that you left under the pot. That isn't just harmless organic debris, it's a botrytis factory. The fungus colonizes the dead tissue first, forming sclerosis, and then launches its spores onto your new, healthy blooms. The takeaway? You must become a sanitation fanatic. This is the non-chemical way to break the life cycle. Immediately remove and destroy all spent blooms, yellowing leaves, and any plant debris from the surface of the pot and your growing area. Never just toss them in an open trash can near your collection. Bag them and take them out of the house. Cleanliness removes the fungal fortress. Sanitation is your first line of defense, but all that work is pointless if you make the #1 mistake with air and water that creates the perfect breeding ground for those spores to germinate, and that's coming up next. If the thought of losing another bloom to fungus or the fear of a complete collection wipeout is making you nervous, you need more than just 1 or 2 tips. You need a master plan. You need to know how to identify every pest and every disease, from botrytis to root rot, from thrips to spider mites, so you can act before it's too late and build an environment where they can't thrive in the first place. That is why I wrote the Orchid Doctor's Handbook. Identify, prevent, and control diseases and pests for healthy, thriving blooms.
This book is the complete A to Z reference guide that moves you past guesswork to professional-level confidence. It's for the enthusiast grower who is tired of mysterious spots and wilting leaves and wants a resilient, thriving collection. It eliminates the paralysis that comes from seeing a problem but not knowing the exact cure, or, more importantly, the prevention strategy. The outcome? You will transform your orchids from fragile to flourishing, blooming longer and resisting problems naturally. You'll master proven treatments for diseases like root rot and bacterial spots, and get clear ID guides for every major pest. This book is more than a guide. It's your personal orchid care companion, trusted by plant lovers who want real results. I usually sell this handbook at its full price, but to help you protect your blooms during this high-risk season, I have a special offer. For a limited time, the first 100 people who click the link in the description, I'm giving a massive 50% discount with the code ORCHIDPRO. Stop losing blooms and start flourishing. This offer is time-sensitive and quantity limited, so click that link now before the discount disappears. Secret 2. Mastering the 8-hour rule. Airflow and temperature differential. This is the most critical cultural step for prevention. We already established that the spores need free moisture to germinate. That moisture comes from two sources, watering and condensation. We must eliminate both. The ideal conditions for a Botrytis spore to germinate are at temperature between 55 degrees Fahrenheit and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, combined with leaf wetness that lasts longer than 6 to 8 hours. If a petal is wet for more than 8 hours, the spore will germinate, and infection becomes almost guaranteed. The airflow solution. You need constant, gentle air movement. Place a small oscillating fan above your plants or pointed away from them to create a constant breeze, simulating their natural environment. This achieves two things. It accelerates the evaporation of moisture after watering, and it breaks up the thin layer of stagnant, humid air that naturally forms around the leaves and flowers, which is where condensation happens. The temperature and water solution, the golden rule. Never water your orchids in the evening. Watering should always be done early in the morning. Why? Because you need the daytime temperature to be 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit higher than the nighttime temperature. This is called the nighttime temperature differential. If your temperature drops at night and your petals are wet from evening watering, the combination creates the perfect cool, damp environment for the fungus to activate. By watering only in the morning, the heat of the day ensures that plant surfaces are bone dry before the cool, risky hours of the night set in. In commercial greenhouses, if the grower allows the relative humidity to jump above 90% and the temperature drops below 65 degrees Fahrenheit for an extended period, they know an outbreak is imminent. Your indoor growing space is a miniature greenhouse. Maintain humidity ideally in the 50 to 70% range. But if you must exceed that, the air movement must be doubled. The takeaway? Use a humidimeter and a fan. Water only in the morning. Ensure your flowers are completely dry by nightfall.